The sounding of the horn. Elaboration of process. When God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he did not do it without examination. Cited, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. When God destroyed the peoples and tribes in the land of Canaan, which God had promised to the tribes of Israel, he did not do it without reason. Cited, not because of your righteousness or the uprightness of your heart are you going in to possess their land, but because of the wickedness of these nations Yahweh your God is driving them out from before you, and that he may confirm the word that Yahweh swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. So then God has judicious process and moral standard by which he executes judgment. Let us see for ourselves this process and standard through the example of the destruction and scattering of Israel by Babylon during 597 to 587 BC. God first warns the people. Cited, thus says Yahweh, stand in the court of Yahweh's house and speak to all the cities of Judah that come to worship in the house of Yahweh all the words that I command you to speak to them. Do not hold back a word. It may be they will listen, and everyone turn from his evil way, that I may relent of the disaster that I intend to do to them, because of their evil deeds. This is seen elsewhere with the city of Nineveh by Jonah his prophet. Cited, arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and call out against it, for their evil has come up before me. At this point there is a junction, where depending on our choice to listen to the warning, does God then act accordingly. Cited, you shall say to them, thus says Yahweh, if you will not listen to me, to walk in my law that I have set before you, and to listen to the words of my servants the prophets, whom I send to you urgently, though you have not listened, then I will make this house like Shiloh, and I will make this city a curse for all the nations of the earth. Thus God will relent of the disaster if we so choose to listen and change the things that God is displeased with according to the moral standard. And we see this precisely with the example of Nineveh. Cited, the word reached the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne, removed his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. And he issued a proclamation and published through Nineveh, by the decree of the king and his nobles, let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock, taste anything. Let them not feed or drink water, but let man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and let them call out mightily to God. Let everyone turn from his evil way and from the violence that is in his hands. Who knows? God may turn and relent and turn from his fierce anger so that we may not perish. When God saw what they did, how they turned from their evil way, God relented of the disaster that he had said he would do to them, and he did not do it. It is worthy to note that God only warns the people through his servants the prophets. Cited, for the Lord God does nothing without revealing his secret to his servants the prophets. Also, that because this God so chooses to use servants which he has on earth, rather than those he has in heaven, there is the possibility that the servant disobeys and does not in fact warn the people. In this case we shall see what will happen and what God does. Cited, so you, son of Adam, I have made a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you shall give them warning from me. If I say to the wicked, O wicked one, you shall surely die, and you do not speak to warn the wicked to turn from his way, that wicked person shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at your hand. But if you warn the wicked to turn from his way, and he does not turn from his way, that person shall die in his iniquity, but you will have delivered your soul. Therefore, there is a relationship between the three parties, God, the city of men, and the prophet. And this is key for you to understand as the reader, since this is how you will know whether or not the warnings you hear are indeed coming from a servant of God or not. And it is quite simply seen in their own personal interest of delivering their own soul. For a prophet of truth does not speak to warn the people out of envy, or conspiracy, or the intent of committing evil by stirring up confusion and woe, but simply because they have no other choice if they desire to continue to live before God. Thus you would hear them speak out of verity. We now understand the process which God undertakes to save a people from imminent destruction. We shall now look at the nature behind the reason for this destruction. Plainly seen, it has been wickedness for which God destroys nations, but we need to understand that.